Let's talk about technology. And the conversation about technology is especially about mobile technology. A lot's happening in the world in advancements in mobile technology. And to help us just have this conversation is the head of Integrated Mobile Division at the Samsung Electronics East Africa, Mr. Charles Kimari. Good morning, Charles.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Very well. Good to have you again on the show.
Thank you so much. How is everybody? How are you doing?
We are very well, thank you, sir.
All right.
I like the Samsung gear that you're wearing. Everything there looks, Samsungy.
It's called a Bud Live.
It's called a what again?
A Bud Live.
Okay.
There's Bud Live, there's Bud Straw, and the beauty is that you don't have wires crisscrossing all around your neck.
Yeah.
Like looking like you want to commit something that cannot be mentioned.
Okay. Is it also bulletproof?
I like that. Good.
They look like a Secret Service agent.
Eh.
Actually, you guys should give them. They still have wires.
Thank you so much. and the good thing is that it's quite clear. You can still be writing, reading, walking to a distance of even around 20 meters, 25 meters, where still you're using it. So you can multitask while you're still having it.
That's brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Charles, the last time we spoke, it was at the height of everybody in the world not understanding COVID-19, all businesses getting there and wondering, so what's going to happen? How are we going to adapt, adjust, and make sure that we survive as businesses in this, in our economies? How are we going to help our customers also navigate through these tough times? Now we are in 2021. There's a lot that is now being understood about COVID, and businesses have found ways of thriving in that environment. Tell us about Samsung East Africa, and especially the mobile division, and how business has been during this time.
COVID-19 started. It was a bleak point at which nobody knew what the future portends on business, operation, and enterprise. It was a difficult time, and people tried to understand what they needed to do, either currently or in the future, or how do they prepare for it. But I can tell you that most of the things that were looked at tended to flip a bit, because the world went into a shutdown at the production factory side, scaling down, and anticipated reduction of demand. But technology just took a very sky-high dive on the same. And I can tell you, at the technology category, I don't think there's anybody who was, whether myself or my competition or everybody else, both consumer electronics and mobile devices, the demand has been very considerably quite high on the same. Yeah, correct.
And why is this? And I'm asking that question because when we looked at the regular cycle of things and how people would purchase this technology, it was, all right, you needed a new gadget, or there was a new one that came out and you wanted to upgrade. Are those the same reasons that we are seeing? Because a lot of decisions were taken to downgrade spending during this difficult year, right? So why would it be that the purchase of technology, from Samsung has remained high?
Okay, good question. Let's look at it. What exactly happened is that, one, government instituted lockdown measures that were meant to contain the spread of the disease, the virus. So automatically people receded where? To their homes. Okay. With this net effect of almost 60-70% people moving to their homes and working from home, there was a net effect that business cannot stop, work cannot stop, services cannot stop. So people needed to gear up and prepare to work from home. So anybody who was at home started asking themselves, am I ready to work from home? Niko na nini kwa nyumba? Maybe somebody had a very tiny 5-inch, 4-inch screen of a device. Maybe it was not a smartphone. He needed to get online.
Yeah.
They needed to get into Zoom like we are doing right now. I'm actually using my phone. I'm not using my tablet or my laptop on the same. And these are some of the factors that portend the upgrade of the devices that people were carrying. And to another extent, an increase in the comfort level at home at a technological level to ease the use of these devices. People ask, TV yangu inatoshanaje?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody had a 24-inch. Now they needed a 32-inch or a 40-inch or a 55-inch or a 65-inch, maybe so that they can integrate with the screen and have a bigger view of the things that they're looking at. So by the fact of moving at home, people rediscovered quite a lot that they needed to upgrade in terms of technology. Internet penetration increased. You can see Safaricom declaring numbers of just upward curve growth. Home fiber increasing. All these were clear signals that people decided to prepare their houses or set up themselves to work from home.
And although during this time, the communication from Samsung went a notch higher on promoting the Samsung A series. Tell us about this particular phone. I mean, the A series has been there for a number of years, since 2004 or 2014? Just tell us about the series and now the new gadgets that are in this particular series.
Okay. Actually, the A series, we launched the A series towards 2019 on the same, and I can tell you from the beginning of the same, and I can tell you that it is one of the decision informed to launch the A series was after a lot of research and development and checking consumer voice in the market. There was an extensive research that was done on consumers so that to make the Samsung brand much more accessible to the consumers with the premium features that it normally has. You see, Samsung is already an aspirational brand. And at this category level, we needed to increase the pool of people who can be able to access our product at the both entry mass level, but still enjoy the features at a premium level on the same. Therefore, the putting forward of the A series to the market was put forward with very high specs on the same and with an idea of reaching the very depth of the market. So actually, I must indicate that this is one of the best actions that we took because the market share has grown in leaps and bounds on the same. The volumes have increased, and as you have rightly said, it's changed the landscape of the mobile device. Because right now, as you can see from the A series, the least memory that we have at the entry level is 32 GB, and that is only one model. But all the other models you find at 15,000, 20,000 shillings, you find 128 GB feature spec available on the model. Fantastic camera. And the research clearly indicated that consumers are purely after very specific things. The camera proves to be one of the biggest requirements from the market. Memory stood out heavily. That they needed to save their photos. The millennials, the device became the tool of on the go, and you need to have two very critical fundamentals, two critical items. One, that is the camera. Two, that is the memory, and three, the battery. So you have these three backs up with you, you're good to go, and you're good to enjoy your device. So this became the A series story.
Delightful. I just want to ask, I think you must have mentioned it, but I missed it. So the specific market that you're targeting with this product, what manner of citizen were you targeting? Is it a certain age group? Is it a certain socioeconomic group?
Gender,
Gender?
education status.
Because when you do your research and development, I'm certain that these are some of the issues that you want to consider. And then you also throw in the price. And the question I would ask is, when you talk about price range, I heard you mention 15,000. Would you have something that has half the specs of this one at, say, 5,000?
Okay, good. Very good question. What informed us about how to approach our market was affordability and high spec at the entry and mass and mid-tier categories. So what the general feedback we got from the market was the features that I've just mentioned to you. So how could Samsung come forward and put a device in the market that will cut across board with a code name A series, but be categorized from the A series and segment the A series into different strata of the environment or of the market. So we went out and categorized the product at entry level, mid and upper mid on the same. So who gets to use the A series? A series is available from anybody in terms of financial scope, because we cover our cheapest device is in the market. You can find it for around 9,999. We could have wanted to go much lower on the same, but then would have compromised on the specs and the features of that. So we tried very much to be sub 10,000, at least with a certain one model, that is our A3 core, which has proved quite popular at the moment in the market, all the way up to 55,000 shillings. You will find an A series device. So the specs across board, we tried to make the specs, the key fundamental specs, that's the battery, the camera, and the memory, as common as possible along the strata without a very big gap between the product. Because my lowest memory is 32 GB, there's a 64 GB, and there's a 128 GB on the same. So memory did not go very well, very far apart from each other. And the camera became almost absolutely vital, and we kept the pixel level close to each other on the same. So we serve a wider range of the population. You ask me, is there a product for a student, a university student? Yes, there is. There's a 9,000 shillings product, but is 9,000 affordable to a university student? Maybe not. So what did Samsung go further and do in the market? In the market, as you're aware, there are different companies that we have engaged with using our NOx license that enables certain corporations to sell the product at installment, on an installment basis. There's where you can pay daily, you can pay weekly, or you can pay monthly. And this is an initiative by some two companies. That is, one, we have M Copper, who is doing quite phenomenal in terms of penetration in the market with three of our very entry and powerful models, A3 Core, A12, and A02. And also there's D-Lite, who has come in to fill in the space also in the market to offer the product at installments to make the product affordable to the market. And this is the fundamental shift that is there in the market, because it has seen the penetration go deeper, especially upcountry, where there was a gap for the same.
Charles, statistically, from what you see in the Kenyan market in particular, in terms of now this entry and middle level consumer, how many new people are buying a smartphone as a first device currently in Kenya? And if you can compare that maybe to 10, 15 years ago, and how many people are buying an upgrade of a smartphone as a second device?
Okay, good question. To track this, There's data very readily available at our operators. Before people were using 2G network
Feature phones, yeah.
on feature phones. Okay, so to understand the transformation is to track the transformation of the operator. They have moved from 2G to 3G and 4G, and now 5G is coming up, but it's not yet at its place yet. And I can tell you that the leaps and bounds that are associated with this are anywhere between on an annual basis at around 15 to 20% up on the same, which is quite significant on a change. And it has been going year on year to an incremental level, because 4G right now coverage is countrywide, because the extent of coverage determines the extent of speed of upgrade of the movement from feature phone to smartphone on the same. Your second question was
People who are now buying the second phone, moving from a feature phone into a smartphone, or upgrading from one level of smartphone, let's say the entry level of the A series at 9,000, but then the second phone that they'll buy a higher grade phone.
and that's a very good question, because ideally, when you get to experience the first level of an A series at 9,000, 10,000, 12,000 shillings, with the powerful specs that we have brought down on the same, then you can always cascade up to the next device. And we are having an almost attachment ratio of close to 65 to 70%, that there's a transition direct to the same device on the same. Our catch is to push it up all the way to 90, 95%. And this is significant in the sense that the moment you score big with your first client, it will drive all the way up to the top. So, and that is why you will find at A52, A72, the spec sheet on the features on these phones are almost close to the flagship devices. So you get to enjoy real value for some good amount of money and a very good device on the same.
You've also invested in care, or after sales support, and especially care for anybody who might then have a ruined phone or such with Samsung Care. And how does this work out right now? Somebody's phone gets messed up, they're able to come into a care center, support, get it fixed.
Okay, this I must admit that this new initiative in the market and has proven to be one of the most fundamental game changers, in the sense that the view from the consumer is that they're dealing with a responsible company that looks after their care and interest. What is Samsung Care Plus? Samsung Care Plus is whereby Samsung has offered to replace a screen that has been broken once at no cost at all. The only cost is a nominal fee of either between 2,000 to 3,000 shillings for purposes of facilitation to fix the screen. Before, the mood in the market was that Samsung screens are quite expensive, and repairing was a big cost. So what we did is that we lowered the cost for all the screens across our service centers, and you'll find us indicating the price within the store so that a customer can have a clear understanding of the price. And number two, we went further and said, hey, we need to show some responsibility to our clients by giving the new models that are coming through to enjoy the Samsung Care Plus. And these models were A72, A52, A32, and all Samsung flagships. That is the S series, M series, and any others that we are going to launch. So this has proven to be a seismic shift on the same, because the actual attachment ratio, because you can track all the customers who are buying it and enrolling into the Samsung Care Plus activity, it's almost at around 95 to 97%. So customers have shown direct attachment to this. And this is the fundamental part. You need to register. Once you buy your phone, just log in on the code and register the Samsung Care Plus. And this guarantees you a free screen repair on the same for the models that I've mentioned with terms and conditions apply on the same.
Is it
Correct.
only for
And-
screens?
Pardon?
Does it only apply for screens, changing the screen, or does it apply for other things as well?
No, it applies for the screen only.
Okay.
Because we did the extensive research that we did in the market, and it showed that the screen was the consumers much more frequently damaged, because this is what somebody comes to interact with and contact with at a daily basis on the same.
Something that I wanted to ask. There is a phone that in Kenya is popularly known as Mulika Mwizi.
Yes.
It doesn't have some of the features that we're talking about, but it has a radio, touch, and it's very cheap.
And if you call somebody, will pick.
And if
send
you
a
call
message, it will
somebody,
reach.
yes, they will receive it. If you send an SMS, they will also receive, but you will not be able to watch a movie on it. Now,
Correct.
does Samsung have a product that competes with this?
All right. Good question. A feature phone is the basic entry device. Where is the world going? To the smart world. In the next 3-4 years or less, the possibility of a feature phone being in the market will be close to nil. Why? Because the cost of smartphones has come down very considerably. Technology has become much more cheaper and much more available. So it will not make fundamental sense for you to have a Mulika Mwizi on the same. So most of the companies are shifting and reducing the quantities they're churning out on feature phones on the same. And that includes Samsung also on that aspect. So we do have a feature phone, but we have seen almost total decline of the demand of this particular product within our existing market, because the smartphone is becoming much more affordable. They're finding payment terms available to purchase and afford this product through the M-Copper and Delight, where they can pay on small installments on a weekly basis, daily basis, or a monthly basis. So the feature phone will become a story we will talk to our kids about. That's more like I can put it, as opposed to the product that will be on the trend in future on the same.
So people should hold on to the feature phones that they have now. It'll be relics.
It will become
It will be. But actually, you know why I brought in the discussion of the feature phone? Huh? Is because even as we talk about the smartphone, well, I was actually thinking, since technology is moving in that direction, why can't technology move in the direction of having a feature phone that actually has these qualities that clearly everybody seems to want? Because
it has a tuner, an inbuilt tuner, for example.
Yes.
You know, we're not asking you to fry eggs. We all we wanted to do.
Cheza radio.
The radio bado inacheza tayari.
Wash a torch.
Hey,
You know, even the person who has 3,000 shillings, oddly enough, to spend.
yes.
You see, I was looking at the wages of citizens in this country. Farm workers earn minimum wage is less than 5,000, if I'm not wrong. That is accepted minimum wage in Kenya. If you're not a farm worker, it's assumed that you'll earn an untaxable amount of maybe 10,000 and slightly above. That's what you earn per month. Now, we haven't considered the informal sector worker who's paid on a daily basis and doesn't also work every day. All these people want phones. They would like to have a smartphone. So the question I was asking is, this smartphone that they can afford, because 9,000, you're asking someone to give you his entire salary to buy a phone. That will be a bit of a tall order. And yet, these individuals that I'm speaking of form the largest number of people who actually work in this country. They are by far the vast majority. That's what I'm actually saying.
Very true, and we are very cognizant of that fact. let me put it this way in a practical way.
Yes.
If you had a phone to be paying for 40 shillings per day or 30 shillings, 35 to 50 shillings per day, would it cover this sea of the community?
I think it can. It can.
Fantastic. Then my answer is, for this sea of the community, Samsung has already partnered with key device sellers like M-Copper and Delight. They're offering devices payable on a daily basis at 35, anywhere between 40 and 50 shillings per day. And you get to own a full A12 or A02 or A, depending on which category of the product you want. So the most fundamental thing here is, is it affordable? We have made it affordable. And Knox software enables this to be done, because most of these, the two companies are using the Knox software to actually be able to sell the product to the consumers on installments. They can be able to manage with the consumer and get into a contract with them, and then be able to proceed on that. You can see all these companies either online or on billboards around or in their stores, and just walk in. I would tell consumers, walk in. Don't be shy. It's easy now to afford a smartphone. Look at how our operators are doing. Operators are going up in terms of band coverage. 4G, 5G is the route to go at the moment. 2G will go disappearing step by step, but of course they have their contractual obligations to the consumer. So they cannot just shift at once. There's a huge chunk of market of 2G people in the market. And this is what is driving smartphone demand within Africa on the same. And it is going to continue growing in leaps and bounds on that.
Thank you very much, Charles. Charles Kimari is the head integrated mobile division at Samsung Electronics East Africa. Thank you for joining us again. Hopefully soon you'll be here in the studio with us.
Asante sana. I miss your
so
studio.
much. Thanks, Charles.
Have a lovely one.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.